So I got some like mosquito bites, spider bites, pretty bad. It's really bad. I think these are spider bites. The only way that an animal could uh, bite me is like that, is through a spider. And so I think uh, spiders need to skedaddle. We got a lot of spider bites, but other than that, I'm making this video vlog to talk about the act of what we're gonna flood. So we would need. We're gonna. Why are we going to flood? Why is the whole Earth going to flood by 2100? Because we're going through a pole shift. What is a pole shift? A pole shift is when the Earth is shifting uh, on its axis, and it's going to flood because of a pole shift. What does that mean? The Earth is going to be tilting a certain degrees, and it's going to be tilting southward. So the world would be flooding from the north, since the flood, since we're going to be tilted on the from the north, so we're going to be tilting towards the south. The water is going to go towards the north, so like the whole norths of the world, and pretty much all the continents and the countries of the world will be flooded, except for Greenland. Since it's tilting south, all the water, for some reason, is going away from Greenland, and so Greenland is actually going to have more land. What's going to happen as well, instead, as well as the countries and the continents flooding, the Atlantis and Lemuria are going to be shown again. And so it shows that this flood is going to like awaken Atlantis as well, and have Atlantis rise from the floods that it has gone through. And so the reason of the matter is that we need to start using ocean water. Ocean water is really nasty because you have to absorb all the salt and all the pollution from the water from the ocean. That would be like fossil fuel, oil. So we need to start like cleaning up the fossil fuel and the salt and start using ocean water, because we're all gonna flood. So the best way for a country to be really like uh, protected would be to have we would need to start investing our money in free energy towers and magnetic water purification systems, and use ocean water, as well as creating garden towers, so that the whole world can be covered in gardens, and then we will not flood. And so that's the best way we can enact upon the New World Order, is to create free energy towers so that we can think clearer and live longer, and use free magnetic water purification systems, ocean water, so that we don't flood as well. And then to use enough water so that we don't flood in the world would be to use garden towers. And garden towers are a really good key method to make sure that we do not flood. Let's say if a country is too poor, they can just grow a lot of crops near the coasts of the countries. So it's like a dire urgency that we all create garden towers and grow gardens near the coasts of the world's continents so that we do not flood and the countries. Even Australia is going to flood. So I have this whole folder that shows like um, what is needed so that we do not flood. And it has the maps everywhere showing where. And yeah. So the best thing I think we could do is pretty much all the continents are going to flood, and like the whole top of Europe is going to flood like crazy. So they would need to use garden towers like crazy. But the best thing we could do is to create a plan, like a pack, like a service pack, to make sure that we all live as long as possible on Earth, and that would be to use free energy towers, invest in free energy towers, uh, ocean magnetic water purification systems, and garden towers so that we don't flood. And that's how we uh, create type 1 civilization, because once you get rid of all the pollution, fossil fuel, and radiation, then you will see the whole world living longer and thinking clearer, and then you're going to start seeing like our spiritual souls awaken more, and pretty much we'll be able to evolve as a human species. So we got to do this by 2025 or else we will die, and we will all flood and drown. And so that would be bad, and we don't want our stuff to be flooded, so we would want to create garden towers, energy towers, and ocean magnetic water purification systems to make sure that we don't flood. And this is going to bring us to a type 1 civilization, because not only are we creating those three things, we would also be creating like compost centers, food compost centers, so that our gardens can be fresher. And we can have food compost centers like how France has. We also need to make our drug laws better. How do we make our drug laws better? We find out what Uruguay did, and I've realized that I did some research, and pretty much the whole world should copy Uruguay's drug decriminalization laws, because it's one of the best, and it's pretty much saying like any kind of drug possession amount found that surpasses more than a 10 days equivalent's worth of use, then you will be sent to like a drug rehab program. But if you have like a quad on you, then it's fine. And what has happened is that deaths have decreased, and drug use itself has decreased. So it shows like people are more responsible and more aware of what drugs they are taking. And deaths have decreased, so it shows that a more responsible drug law is bound to take place, because people are the more responsible we can be and copy the same 10-day drug law extension period with its possession amount passing. If it seems to pass 10 days worth of use, then you'd be sent to a drug rehab program. And so it's freeing up the jail systems, and so it's saving money, so you don't have to house people with just pot, minor possessions of pot. And it would pretty much free the jail system. It would also save a lot of money, so that you don't have corruption evident, like police officers obtaining the drugs and then selling the drugs. So we would need to work on drug decriminalization laws as well, and copy Uruguay's methods of drug decriminalization, and obviously ban GMO and Monsanto because it's in everything. If it's gonna be in our cannabis, it's gonna be in hemp. And so if it's in hemp, then it's in our food. And so we would need to ban GMO and Monsanto out of the whole earth. Obviously, still. And we just need to ban GMO and Monsanto immediately because that's the first step towards awakening to a better consciousness. Because it causes cancer and diabetes. It's in tampons too.